Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriye Nashtipraheshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 78, the killing of Dantavakra, Vidurat and Romaharsha. Text number 17 onwards. So yesterday we studied how Krishna first killed Shalva and then Dantavakra and then Vidurat. For Dantavakra killing, he had to go to Mathura, and after killing him in Mathura, he went to Vrindavan, met Nand Baba and all the gopis and spent 2 months there. And then he sent all of them back to Golok, Vrindavan. And then he came back to Dwarka. Now text 17. Shrutva yudhyo dyamam rama kurunam sah pandavah tirthabhishek vyajena madhyastha prayayo kila. Lord Balram then heard that the Kurus were preparing for war with the Pandavas. Being neutral, he departed on the pretext of going to bathe in the holy places. Both Duryodhan and Yudhishthira were dear to Lord Balram, and so to avoid an awkward situation, he departed. So he didn't want to take part on either side. Furthermore, after killing the demon Vidurat, Lord Krishna put aside his weapons. But Lord Balram still had to kill Romaharshan and Balwal to finish relieving the earth of her burden of demons. So this was the last demon, Vidurat, that Krishna killed. And then he just said no more weapons, because in Mahabharata he did not pick up any weapon. Just for pastime he picked up that wheel to kill Bhishma Dev, but that wasn't the weapon. Snata prabhase santarpya devarshi pitri manavan saraswatim prati srotam yayo brahmana samrita. After bathing at Prabhas and honoring the demigods, sages, forefathers, and prominent human beings, he went in the company of Brahmins to the portion of the Saraswati that flows westward into the sea. So Balramji, he left for to do the pilgrimage. Prathudakam bindu saras tritakupam sudarshanam vishalam brahmatirtham cha chakram prachim saraswatim yamuna manu yaneva ganga manu cha bharat jagam namesham yatra rishya satra samasate. Lord Balram visited Prithudak, the Bindu Saras lake, Tritakupa, Sudarshan, Vishal, Brahmatirtha, Chakratirtha, and the eastward flowing Saraswati. He also went to all the holy places among the Yamuna and the Ganges of Bharat, and then he came to Namish forest, so Namisharanya near Lucknow, where great sages were performing an elaborate sacrifice. Tamagatam abhipretya munyo dirgha satrina abhinandya yathanyayam pranamyothaya charchayan. Recognizing the Lord upon his arrival, the sages who had been engaged in the sacrificial rituals for a long time greeted him properly by standing up, bowing down, and worshipping him. So archita sa parivara kritasan parigraha rom harshanam asinam maharsha shishyam akshatam. After being thus worshipped along with his entourage, the Lord accepted a seat of honor. Then he noticed that Romharshan, Vyasadev's disciple, had remained seated. So Romharshan was on the Vyasasana, but he did not stand up when the Lord appeared in that assembly. Apratyutthainam sutam akrit pranavan jalim adhyasinam chatan vipranch chakopodvikshya madhava. Lord Balram became extremely angry upon seeing how this member of the Suta caste had failed to stand up bow down or join his palms, and also how he was sitting above all the learned Brahmins. Romharshan had failed to greet Lord Balram in any of the standard ways of welcoming a superior personality. Also, despite being of a lower caste, he sat in his seat above the assembly of exalted Brahmins. So, obviously, caste doesn't mean the caste that we think of these days. It is a Varnashram system. And although he was a lower, in a lower Varna and ashram than Brahmins, but he must be very, very exalted knowledge-wise. It is said he's a disciple of Vyasadeva. So he had the knowledge, he had the realizations to teach to all the exalted Brahmins. So all the Brahmins were there, and he's a Suta. So from that aspect, he was not qualified, but since he's a disciple of Vyasadeva, he was very well qualified. But he did not get up and pay respects to Balaramji. That was his mistake. Yasmadasavi manvipran adhyaste pratilomajah dharma palanstatevasva vadam arhati durmati. Lord Balram said, because this fool born from an improperly mixed marriage sits above all these Brahmins and even above me, the protector of religion, he deserves to die. So it wasn't that he was killed because of his caste, lower caste, because he did not show proper respect. And he was from an improperly mixed marriage. It is a pratilom. So pratilom means born from, if the mother is from higher Varna and the father is from lower Varna. So suppose the mother was from Brahman and father was a Kshatriya side, then it's a pratilom marriage. So I had to find out exactly how was Romharsham Suta, who was his mother and father. I don't know. Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishyodhitya Bahunicha Sa Itihas Puranani Dharma Shastrani Sarvasha Adandasya Vinitasya Vritha Panditamanina Na Gunaya Bhavantisma Natasya Vajitatmana. Very, very important instructions. Although he is a disciple of the divine sage Vyasa and has thoroughly learned many scriptures from him, including the law books of religious duties and the epic histories and Puranas, all this study has not produced good qualities in him. Rather, his study of the scriptures is like an actor's studying his part, for he is not self-controlled or humble and vainly presumes himself a scholarly authority, though he has failed to conquer his mind. Very, very important. So the studies of scriptures, of following all the regulations, doing our sadhana and everything, if it doesn't bring good qualities in us, then what's the use? And as Balramji is saying, rather his study of the scriptures is like an actor studying his part. So when an actor, he is playing, maybe in the role he's playing Lord Ram and he studies his part and speaks the shlokas very nicely, but he hasn't gotten the qualities of Lord Ram. So this is exactly what is happening with us. Well, I cannot say with us, but me. Study of scriptures is there, chanting is there, everything else is there, but the heart hasn't changed. The transformation of heart hasn't taken place. Whether it is proper behavior or showing proper respect to others, it's not there. And here, Lord Balram said, for he is not self-controlled or humble, and vainly presumes a scholarly authority. Just because somebody remembers or has memorized so many shlokas and so many purports from different scriptures, what's the most important thing? Humility. Vidya dadati vinayam. That vinay, that humility has to come. Otherwise, what's the use? though he has failed to conquer his own mind. So it's not that the scriptures are wrong or the procedure sadhana is wrong or doing all of the services is wrong. It is completely pure, very much right. But at the same time, we have to understand, where am I going? What qualities am I developing? Means at least it should take me to the mode of goodness, if not beyond. So it also means these qualities we have to cultivate. Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. Anushilanam. In Nectar of Devotion, this verse comes. That is bhakti. Sevanam bhaktir uttama. Means we have to cultivate these qualities. Means we have to be conscious of what we are saying, how we are saying, what we are doing, how we are doing, how we are behaving with others, how we are dealing with others. We have to be conscious. Means at the level of, yes, I'm representing Srila Prabhupada in this moment. And I should not make any mistakes. And if I do make mistakes, and of course we do make mistakes, we should ask for forgiveness and try to rectify those mistakes in our dealings, in our speaking, in everything. Means we should be conscious. We have to cultivate these qualities. Humility, very, very important. And it is said, Balaram said, though he has failed to conquer his mind. Yes, it's very difficult to conquer the mind. But as Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, with practice and with detachment, it is possible. So practice, practice, practice. This is what we have to do. And we'll see how what Lord Balram does to Romharshan. One might argue that Romharshan committed an innocent mistake when he failed to recognize Lord Balram. But such an argument is refuted here by Lord Balram's strong criticism. Edadartho hi lokyasminnavataro maya krita vadhyame dharma dvajinas tehi patad kino adhika. The very purpose of my descent into this world is to kill such hypocrites who pretend to be religious. Indeed, they are the most sinful rascals. Wow. Lord Balram was not prepared to overlook Romharshan's offense. The Lord had descended specifically to eliminate those who claim to be great religious leaders but do not even respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can claim to be great religious leaders, not only Vedic Dharma, but others also. But if we don't respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sooner or later, Lord Balram's wrath is gonna destroy them. Etavaduktva Bhagavan Nivritto Asadvadha Api Bhavitvatam Kushagrena Karasthena Hanat Prabhu. Shukdev Goswami continued. Although Lord Balram had stopped killing the impious, Romharshan's death was inevitable. Thus, having spoken, the Lord killed him by picking up a blade of kusha grass and touching him with his tip. That's a picture in the backdrop. So he just picked up a kusha grass from the sacrificial arena and touched the tip to Romharshan Suta. Prabhupada said, Lord Balram had avoided taking part in the battle of Kurukshetra, and yet because of his position as an incarnation, the re-establishment of religious principles was his prime duty. Considering all these points, he killed Romharshan Suta simply by striking him with the kusha straw, which is nothing but a blade of grass. If someone questions how Lord Balram could kill Romharshan Suta simply by striking him with the blade of kusha grass, the answer is given in Srimad Bhagavatam by the use of the word Prabhu or Master. The Lord's position is always transcendental, and because he is omnipotent, he can act as he likes without being obliged to follow the material laws and principles. Thus, it was possible for him to kill Romharshan Suta simply by striking him with the blade of kusha grass. So, So all these demons, when you think of how Krishna and Balaram fight with them, this was because they want to have the pleasure of fighting. Otherwise, they don't even need a Kushagrass. Just by their desire, they can kill all these demons. Ha heti vadinah sarve munyas khinna manasah uchu sankarshanam devam adharmaste kritah prabhu. All the sages cried out, alas, alas, in great distress. They told Lord Sankarshan, O Master, you have committed an irreligious act. Asya brahmasanam dattam asmabhir yadunandana ayushchatma klamam tavad yavat satram samapyate. O favorite of the Yadus, we gave him the seat of the spiritual master and promised him long life and freedom from physical pain for as long as this sacrifice continues. Although Romharshan was not a Brahmin, having been born of a mixed marriage, he was invested with that status by the assembled sages and thus given the Brahmasa, the seat of the chief officiating priest. And that sacrifice actually was supposed to go on for 1,000 years. And all the sages said, we just gave him long life and gave him the seat and freedom from physical pain as long as this sacrifice continues. And you came and you just killed him. Now what to do? Ajanateva charitas tvaya brahmavado yatha yogeshwarasya bhavato namnayo api niyamaka yadetat brahma hatyaya pavanam lok pavan charishyati bhava lokas sangraho ananya chautitaha. You have unknowingly killed a Brahman. Of course, even the injunctions of revealed scriptures cannot dictate to you, the Lord of all mystic powers. But if by your own free will you nonetheless carry out the prescribed purification for this slaying of a Brahman, or purifier of the whole world, people in general will greatly benefit by your example. So they're saying, although you have killed a Brahman and it is against the scriptures, but you're the Supreme Lord, so you do whatever you need to set an example. Shri Bhagwan Vacha, Charishya Vada Nirvesham Lokanu Grihe Kamyaya Niyama Prathame Kalpe Yavan Satu Vidhiyatam. The personality of Godhead said, I will certainly perform the atonement for this killing, since I wish to show compassion to the people in general. Please therefore prescribe from me whatever ritual is to be done first. Dirghamayur batatasya sattvam indriyam eva cha ashasitam yattabrute sadhya yog maya. O sages, just say the word, and by my mystic power, I shall restore everything you promised him, long life, strength, and sensory power. So Lord Balaram said, I can bring him back to life if you say so. Rishya uchu astrasya tava viryasya mrityorasma asmakam evacha yatha bhaveduvacha satyam tatha ram vidhiyatam. The sages said, please see to it, O Ram, that your power and that of your Kusha weapon, as well as our promise and Romharshan's death, all remain intact. So only the Lord can sort this situation out. The Brahman said, our promise also should remain, and we gave him the promise of long life without physical pain, but your power and the power that you invested in Kusha grass, that also should remain intact. Shri Bhagwan Vacha. Atma ve putra utpanna iti vedanushāsanam tasmadasya bhaved vakta ayur indriya sattvavan. The Supreme Lord said, the Vedas instruct us that one's own self takes birth again as one's son. Thus let Romharshan's son become the speaker of the Puranas and let him be endowed with long life, strong senses, and stamina. See, this is how Lord Balram sorted this situation. So Balramji, Sridhar Swami quotes the following Vedic words, that you have taken birth from my various limbs and have arisen from my heart. You are my own self in the form of my son. May you live through 100 autumns. So the son So the person takes birth again as one's son. So son is basically image of the father. Kimva kama munishreshta brutaham karvanyatha ajanasthatva pachitim yatha me chintitam buddhaham. Please tell me your desire, O best of the sages, and I shall certainly fulfill it. And, O wise souls, please carefully determine my proper atonement, since I do not know what it might be. Lord Balram here sets a perfect example for people in general by humbly submitting himself before the qualified Brahmins. Rishyaucho, ilvalasya suto ghoro, balvalo nama danava, sadushyati naha satram, etya parvani parvani. The sages said, a fearsome demon named Balval, the son of Ilval, comes here every new moon day and contaminates our sacrifice. First, the sages tell Lord Balram the favor they would like him to do for them. Tam papam jahi dasharha tanna shushurushanam param puya shonit vinmutra sura mansbhi varshinam. O descendant of the Dasharha, please kill that sinful demon who pours down pus, blood, feces, urine, wine, and meat upon us. This is the best service you can do for us. Tatascha bharatam varsha paritya susamahita charitva dvadash masansa tirtha snai vishuddhyasi. Thereafter, for 12 months, you should circumambulate the land of Bharat in a mood of serious meditation, executing austerities and bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites. In this way, you will become purified. Of course, Lord Balram doesn't need purification, but just to set an example, he did that. Srila Jiva Goswami points out that the word Vishuddhyasi means that Lord Balram would achieve spotless fame by setting such a perfect example for the people in general. Prabhupada writes, the Brahmins could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial to them. So then Lord Balram, he accepted this order or atonement procedure, and then he went on pilgrimage all over Bharatvarsha. And actually, when Lord Balram appeared as Nityanand Prabhu in Gaur Leela, he also left his house and Radhadesh, and he went with a sannyasi on the pretext of going to pilgrimage, but he left a sannyasi and he went alone. And he also went to all these places of pilgrimage where Lord Balram went, and he was remembering Lord Balram's pastimes, and he was getting so ecstatic by visiting all these places. Next chapter is Lord Balram goes to all these places, and before that he benedicted or blessed Romharshan Suta's son. So who became Suta Goswami? So Suta Goswami, he heard Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, and also he got the blessings of Lord Balram. Lord Balram is Adi Guru. He is the original Guru actually. Because without the mercy of Lord Balram, without the knowledge that one gets from Balramji, how to serve Krishna, one cannot become a Guru. So Suta Goswami got everything from Balramji's blessings, the knowledge, and the Brahmins also blessed him. And then he did this Katha at Naimisharanya, which we studied in the beginning, how 88,000 sages were gathered there. And they would do yajna in the morning, and then they would all sit down and listen to Bhagavatam. And they chose Shonak Rishi as a leader to ask the question, because everybody cannot ask question. 88,000 sages sitting there, they cannot ask. So Shonak Rishi was asking questions on behalf of 88,000 sages. And this Suta Goswami, then he became the main speaker of Bhagavatam to these sages. So here Shukdev Goswami is speaking, and we heard how Suta Goswami also speaks intermittently. And this is how Bhagavatam goes. And all the stories, somehow they come together if we know where all they meet. But here Lord Balram has given a very nice instruction that what should be the goal of our all these studies and services and sadhana and everything that we have to develop those qualities. That's very, very important. So I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
So Prabhuji,
Yes,
this is
Mata.
Anjali here. What should we
Yes,
do to make our kids more humble, especially when they grew up here and this society is there? I don't see any humble people. Humility is seen as weakness in this country.
There are different meanings of humility. Humility doesn't mean we all just keep on bowing down to everything and everybody. Humility means one understanding is to understand everything belongs to Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. My strength, whatever capabilities I have, is coming from Krishna, and I have to use them in Krishna service. Arjuna was given all these instructions by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And Arjun assimilated all these instructions, but then he fought the war after hearing and understanding whole Bhagavad Gita. It wasn't like he put down his bow and arrow, no, I'm humble, I'm not going to fight. No, he fought. He fought very well. So humility doesn't mean we're just going to give up everything. No, we have to understand everything properly. That's also humility.
And that understanding doesn't come so easy. It comes very late in life.
Sometimes we
Right?
learn by our experiences, sometimes we learn from others' knowledge. So everything is there. So we learn from.
True. It's a evolution, basically.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And
It's
kids here or in India, it's the same story, Mata. It's not different. Just we have to.
That is also true, yeah.
We have to just try to bring good qualities in them. That's all. We have to try. Keep on trying. Giving them good association and good knowledge. But first, we have to follow it. Then they will
That
follow.
is true. That is true.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण।
मुझे लगता है कि अगर आप प्रॉपर्ली चैंटिंग करो और भगवान को सुबह से शाम तक सेवा करो, हम्बलनेस अपने आप ही आएगी। जैसे माता जी कह रही थी ना कि सोसाइटी से हमें क्या अपना ज्यादा टाइम अगर भगवान के साथ बिताएंगे और अच्छी क्वालिटी वाली चैंटिंग करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि हम्बलनेस अपने आप आ जाती है। उसमें कोई फोर्स करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, हमें किसी से कोई मतलब नहीं होता, हमारे अंदर वो क्वालिटी खुद ब खुद आ जाती है। ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, मुझे नहीं पता मैं ठीक हूँ या नहीं, पर ये मुझे लगता है क्वालिटी वाली चैंटिंग और सारा दिन आप सेवा करो भगवान की किसी न किसी रूप में, तो अपने हम्बलनेस।
आपका लेवल माता बहुत हाई है।
नहीं, मेरे को ऐसा मत बताइए।
मैं तो बिगनर हूँ नीरजा जी। नीचे माता
बिगनर
मैं
की बात
बिगनर हूँ।
नहीं है, मैं भी तो बिगनर ही हूँ, मैं कोई ऐसी नहीं है, बात नहीं है, ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है। जब से मैंने चैंटिंग करनी शुरू करी है ना माता,
हाँ हाँ हाँ
उसके
हाँ।
बाद अपने आप ही वो चैंटिंग फिर क्वालिटी वाली चैंटिंग होगी नहीं ना। जब आप हम्बल नहीं बनोगे तो फिर कैसे चैंटिंग करोगे? भगवान की सेवा में कैसे करोगे आप? प्यार से करोगे ना, तो प्यार जब आ
हाँ।
जाता है तो वो दूसरों के लिए भी हो जाता है। तो मेरा
बिकॉज
ये, मैं आई जस्ट वांटेड टू शेयर दिस थिंग टू यू कि सोसाइटी
थैंक
से हमें कुछ नहीं लेना। सोसाइटी में तो अच्छे लोग भी होते, बुरे लोग भी होते, पांचों उंगलियां बराबर नहीं होती ना। तो मगर हमारे को अपने आप को देखना है, विड्रॉ करना है उन लोगों से और थोड़ा अपने में ही रहो और अच्छी सी क्वालिटी वाली चैंटिंग करो रोज, राधा रानी और कृष्णा को याद करके। और जैसे बताते हैं भागवतम में जो भी इतने अच्छी अच्छी चीजें प्रभु जी बताते हैं, तो उनको याद करके ना हम अपने आप ही हम्बल बनते हैं। मुझे ऐसा लगता है। हाई क्लास मैं कुछ नहीं हूँ, ये मैं बता रही हूँ आपको, ये ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, मगर चैंटिंग से काफी फर्क पड़ता है। अच्छी क्वालिटी की चैंटिंग, भगवान को याद करो कि दूसरों से क्या लेना देना। आप वर्किंग होंगे, मुझे नहीं पता होंगे, तो अगर आप वर्क भी करते हो तो अगर उधर लोग भी हैं तो अपना काम से मतलब करो, अपने प्यार से रहो, स्माइलिंग फेस और हम्बलनेस अपने आप ही आ जाती है, वो चेहरे पे ही आ जाती है। सॉरी मैं कुछ
नहीं,
अपना
बात आपकी एकदम सही है, पर मेरे में अभी तक नहीं आई है। दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज थिंकिंग,
नहीं लेवल की
कहीं तो
बात।
गलती हो रही है।
चैंटिंग में इतना फोर्स है ना, मैं आपको बता नहीं सकती, बहुत फोर्स है उसमें। अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं करते हो ना, चैंटिंग करते हो अच्छी सी भगवान को, बिल्कुल भगवान की तरफ, और कोई दिमाग जैसे घोड़ा चलता है सड़क पे, उसके इधर इधर लगा होता है आंखों में, वो सड़क पे ही देखता है ना, तो हमें वो चैंटिंग वैसे ही करनी है, कृष्णा और राधा को याद करके। राधा जी को, राधा रानी मुझे ज्यादा लगती है। मैं जब भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम में होती हूँ ना, किसी से कैसे डील करूं, क्योंकि माया है ये, यहाँ पे तो अलग अलग किस्म के लोग हैं, और फिर मैं राधा रानी के चरणों का ध्यान करके मैं बोलती हूँ मुझे कर दो ठीक, मुझे विड्रॉ करो उन लोगों से। वो लोग भी
प्रभु
अच्छे
जी
होंगे अपने, सब लोग अंश हैं भगवान के, तो सब लोग अच्छे हैं, मगर कर्मों के हिसाब से हमें मिल रहा है ना, वो सोसाइटी भी में हमको कर्मों के हिसाब से मिलती है। उनके साथ हमने कुछ किया होगा तभी हमको मिलता है। वो गंदे लोग भी, अच्छे लोग भी, सब लोग अच्छे हैं, वो कर्म है उनके और हमारे। ये मेरा
प्रभु जी माता जी बिल्कुल सत्य बोल रही है, मैं उनके साथ अग्री करता हूँ। बिकॉज बहुत पहले एक बार मैंने यही स्टेटमेंट दिया था, आई डोंट रिकॉल किसने पूछा था, बट आई हैव यूज्ड द सेम थिंग। और मुझे इसलिए अग्री होता है प्रभु जी, क्योंकि अगर आप अपने कंफर्ट जोन में हैं, इफ यू आर गेटिंग एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम कृष्णा, देन मे बी यू फॉरगेट इट, यू कीप डूइंग इट एज अ ड्यूटी। बट जैसे ही आपको दुख प्राप्त होता है, लाइफ में कोई ऐसा सिचुएशन आ जाता है जहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि आप काफी डिसहार्टेंड हो गए हैं, तब अगर उस वक्त पे इस चीज को एलिवेट करें, अगर कृष्णा, जैसे माता जी ने कहा कि जपा को कंटिन्यू करना है, क्वालिटी जपा करना है, भजन कीर्तन करना, और बुक्स जो है हमारे श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी की हैं उनको थॉरली रीड करना और समझना है, तो आई थिंक दिस इज द बेस्ट चांस टू एलिवेट आवरसेल्फ इन दिस कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस। और मैंने ये करके देखा है प्रभु जी, और इट रियली हेल्प ऑल्सो। अगर जैसे जैसे अगर वापस आपका कंफर्ट जोन आता रहता है, आप क्या कहते हैं उसको, माया के वशीभूत फिर वापस होने लगते हैं, तो फिर ये चीजें दूर भागने लगती हैं। तो ऐसा ही कुछ है ये, मतलब इट्स लाइक अ सी सॉ। जैसे जैसे जितना ज्यादा इस तरफ रहेंगे उतना ज्यादा आप इंक्रीज करेंगे अपनी भक्ति को, और जैसे जैसे आप डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते जाएंगे कुछ चीजों में, आप अपने आप को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करते जाएंगे, फिर वापस वही चीजें होती जाएंगी। तो इट्स द फोकस। माता जी ने वो बताया ना घोड़े वाली, कि वो जब चलता है तो कैसे फोकस करता है, तो सिमिलर थिंग, अगर आप फोकस्ड हैं, डेली ये कंटिन्यू करते हैं, तो शायद ये चीज बनी रहेगी और अपने आप, और हम्बलनेस ऑटोमेटिकली आएगी प्रभु जी, फॉर नो डाउट। मैंने ये देखा है कि वाणी में भी और आपके डेली की एक्टिविटी में ये चीजें आएंगी। आप लोगों से प्यार से बात करेंगे और उनसे घुलेंगे मिलेंगे, जैसे कि हम डिवोटी को कहते हैं ना कि डिवोटीज के साथ इसीलिए मिलना चाहिए। So Mataji, I think this is I totally agree with Nirja Mataji.
तो
ये मेरा
प्रभुपाद
पर्सनल
की
एक्सपीरियंस भी है
बायोग्राफी पढ़ेंगे ना आप, तो
जी।
आपको अपने आप पता लगेगा वो किस दौर से गुजरे हैं। एक एक बुक, आप एक एक वर्ड में उनके इतनी ज्यादा लेसन्स है ना, कि जब इस एज में वो इतना सफरिंग उन्होंने देखी है, मगर फिर भी उन्होंने कर लिया ना अचीव। वो मैं पढ़ती हूँ, मैं रोज पढ़ती हूँ, 6 वॉल्यूम्स है इनके, मैं रिपीट करती हूँ और रोती हूँ उनको पढ़ के। मैं कहती हूँ वो इतने इतने पायस कैसे ऐसा सोल कैसे हो सकता है इस माया जाल में। उन्होंने इतनी सफरिंग देखी। आप यू जस्ट गो थ्रू दोस बुक्स, फिर आपको खुद पता लगेगा
बिकॉज
कि
माता जी उनका सिचुएशन अलग मुझे लगता है कि उनके पापा जो थे फादर, ही हिमसेल्फ वाज गॉडी, उन्होंने वो सिखाया था, उनका बेस ही क्रिएट कर दिया था कि वहां से वो डिगे नहीं और सिचुएशन को हैंडल कर लिया बाद में, इतना कुछ होने के बाद।
Well, Srila Prabhupada की पोजीशन खैर बहुत ही अलग है, but yes, we have to learn from his example. और पॉइंट ये था कि yes, humility आती है, but at the same time हमें कल्टीवेट भी करनी है। जैसे आपने कहा ना कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर तो भगवान निकालेंगे, ऐसी ऐसी सिचुएशंस लाएंगे, then we have to see I'm really humble or not, or and then we work on it. That's all. Of course, every jiva is on the different level at different speed. Nirja Mata ji ka level बहुत high है. I'm trying. We are struggling. So ठीक है, it's okay. I mean, we have to learn from her. Why not?
मैं भी आप सबके जैसी हूँ, मैं बिल्कुल नहीं हूँ वैसे। शायद मेरा इनबॉर्न चीज है ये, मैं सबसे प्यार करती हूँ, इनबॉर्न चीज।
That is the level, na? That's your elevated level. There's
Before joining this
nothing.
ISKCON, I was always loving, you know. मैं कभी किसी से ऐसे नहीं है। हाँ, अपने प्रभु जी से बहुत लड़ती हूँ कभी, तो क्योंकि वो कभी माया के उसमें जाती, मैं वापस खींचती हूँ। मैं कहती हूँ नहीं, आप हम इतने लकी हैं, दोनों उसी में पड़े हैं, तो हम उसी लेवल पे चलेंगे। आप माया मत फंसो। तो इसीलिए हमारा झगड़ा भी हो जाता है। ऐसी बात नहीं है कि मैं नहीं हूँ, मैं हमेशा ऐसी नहीं हूँ, मैं रूड भी हूँ, गंदी क्वालिटीज भी
वो
हूँ।
आपका स्पेशल अधिकार है प्रभु जी के ऊपर. So there's nothing wrong with that.
चलो कोई बात नहीं। थैंक यू सो मच।
Okay, thank you, Mata. So thank you all very much. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare